Sri Ramakrishna is narrating about how ordinary pandits behave. So when comparing Vidyasagar has a very sattvic nature. He was doing a lot of service, philanthropical service and compassion. He had a lot of compassion for poor people. So Sri Ramakrishna was praising Vidyasagar. Your work is very sattvic. It is all the services you do is full of sattvic. But mere pandits are like diseased fruit that becomes hard and puckered and will not ripen at all. Such a fruit has neither the freshness of green fruit nor the flavor of a ripe one. Vultures soar very high in the sky, but their eyes are fixed on rotten carrion on the ground. So he is comparing like vultures. Those people, scholars, big scholars, they talk so high Vedanta they speak. But when you compare their life, it will not synchronizing properly. See, it is not kaya, vacha, manasa should be there. If you want to give something advice to somebody, first you should practice. Sri Ramakrishna never used to give advice to anybody without practicing it. That we see in Sri Ramakrishna's life. So why Sri Ramakrishna is stressing here? You want to talk about anything higher, first you should practice, otherwise you will not have any value at all. So Pandit, there are so many great orators are there, but they never practice. One famous philosopher, just like Dr. Sarada Devi, S.N. Gupta, S.N. Gupta, I think, if I am not wrong. He wrote many books, Indian philosophy. He was very good, great scholar he was. Many volumes of Indian philosophy he wrote. But so egoistic, he used to keep his leg on those books. All this philosophy under my foot, he was telling. So how people will listen to them, such type of people? You may have so many things, so much of knowledge you may have, but if you don't practice little bit of that what it is written in the books, then what is the use? That's why Sri Ramakrishna is telling here, these people are like vultures. So vultures go so high, so high, but their eyes will be on dead corpse only. So similarly, these ordinary scholars, those who do not practice in their life, they are just like vultures. They talk so much, but their eyes are only in Kamini Kanchana. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. But Vidyasagar was not like that. So because why Sri Ramakrishna visits such type of people? He never visits. Those are so worldly people, so much worldly, full of Kamini Kanchana. He never used to criticize also. See, one other thing, Sri Ramakrishna, such a unique character is, so if we pray, generally what we do, if we want to praise someone, we criticize someone. That is not Sri Ramakrishna's nature, because avatars are like that, great people. Even you take the life of Buddha or Krishna. See, Sri Krishna, Lord Krishna, when he came for agreement to bring Kauravas and Pandavas to reconcile between them. Then when he came to Kaurava, that is Duryodhana, the Duryodhana said, "Oh Krishna, I understand you have come on behalf of Pandavas. I know very well. You are Pakshapati, you are Pandavas side. Then Krishna said, "No, I am neither the side of Pandavas nor the side of Kauravas. I am only on the side of Dharma," he said. That is why, see, Sri Krishna clearly says, I am not supporting Pandavas, because I am supporting only Dharma. Where Dharma is there, I stay there. And then he gives so many options. It's not that Sri Krishna is condemning Duryodhana. He is just on behalf of Pandavas asking. So where dharma is not there, then I will take action. That is the only thing. Here also Sri Ramakrishna, he is talking about dharma. Follow the practice of dharma. What you speak, you practice it. What you practice, that only you speak. That is what Sri Ramakrishna's attitude. So here also, that great character, Vidyasagar, Ishwachandra Vidyasagar is a really great man he was. So here next he says, Vidyasagar listened to these words in silence. The others too gazed at the master and were attentive to every word he said. Vidyasagar, greatness of Vidyasagar, you see, he is a already elderly person. Compared to Sri Ramakrishna's age, he was quite an elderly person. Sri Ramakrishna hardly 40 years, just 40. But Vidyasagar already 60 years, 20 years difference between Sri Ramakrishna and Vidyasagar. But Vidyasagar is a very great, humble man. He is a great scholar. He wrote Sanskrit and so many books. He was a teacher. See, he is a good teacher also. Because, why I am telling he is a good teacher? Because he is able to listen. Very good teacher, he will be a good listener. So here, whatever he said, just he was carefully listening. So Vidyasagar, here, though a student of Hindu philosophy, was reticent about giving spiritual instruction. Once, when M asked him his opinion of it, Vidyasagar said, I think the philosophers have failed to explain what was in their minds. But in his daily life, he followed all the rituals of Hindu religion and wore the sacred thread of a Brahmin. About God he had once declared, it is indeed impossible to know him. What then should be our duty? It seems to me what we should live in such a way that if others followed our example, this very earth would be heaven. Everyone should try to do good to the world. See, Vidyasagar is a great scholar, he is a student of Hindu philosophy, but he was very much reluctant to give any spiritual instruction. He practiced all the rituals, he practiced all the prescribed traditions, everything he followed, but when you were asked to speak something about spirituality, he really was reluctant. He was never used to give. But his opinion is, according to him, God cannot be known. He is knowable, he is unknowable. That is what is his opinion. But in one way it is true also. That let me come to later on. Let me finish this. But Vidyasagar, he was clear in his opinion. But you have to do good to others. When you follow all the tradition without hurting anybody. See, one of the greatness is, though he had different opinion, but he was never away from all this practice. He was practicing regular Sandhya Vandana, Gayatri Japa. There was whatever the prescribed tradition was there in his house, he used to practice regularly. But at the same time, he was very liberal, not very rigid, orthodox, not like that. He was liberal also, and without criticizing the existing traditions. So this is the difference between other Brahmo leaders and Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar also had different ideas, different opinions. But regarding God, concept of God, he was telling according to him, God cannot be known. It is impossible to know him. What then should we do? What we have to do? It seems to me that we should live in such a way that if others followed our example, this very earth would be heaven. So how we should live? We should live such a way that if others follow, so whole world will be heaven. How? You're doing good to others. Just you are to. Then here, his opinion is correct. Whatever he has opinion, okay. But he need not accept everything. For that correct, right answer he will get. But when he finished this, when he should do the gold, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly Sri Ramakrishna's conversation now turned to the knowledge of Brahman. Here, his opinion of Vidyasagar, God cannot be known. It is unknowable. Sri Ramakrishna's conversation turned towards knowledge of Brahman. Master, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, Brahman is beyond Vidya and Avidya, knowledge and ignorance. It is beyond Maya, the illusion of duality. So here, Brahman, it is not neither knowable nor non-knowable by through your senses. That is true. What he is telling, in one sense it is right. What Vidyasagar is telling, God cannot be known. But Brahman cannot be known. It has to be experienced. See, there is a story in a ashrama. The disciples were full of questions about God. Keep on going, asking so many questions. The Guru was telling, then why are you telling? The Guru is telling, so God is unknown, unknowable. It cannot know. If any description about, any statement about God, it is a distraction of the truth. Anything you give statement about God, it will be distracting your actual truth. Then disciples asked, then why are you speaking about God? Whatever you speak about God, it is a distraction of truth. You cannot give any explanation about God. Then why should we give lecture about God? Why should we speak about God? The master said, that Guru said, not that he doesn't have any statement, but he has a song. Then he said, that Guru said, then why birds sing? Yes, God is unknowable, not knowable, unknowable. Then why should I speak God? When the disciples asked, then Guru said, then why birds sing? Birds sing. When you go to mountains, the waterfalls, just you listen. Why all these sounds? Why birds are singing, chirping? Then Guru says, see, scholars, Pandits, when they speak, the statement of scholars should be understood. But a statement given by the enlightened master should not be understood. It should be listened. So let me explain this. Any scholars, if they try to explain about God, explain about Brahman or any highest truth, you should try to understand. When the enlightened master, when the realized person speaks, it is not to be understood, it should be listened. How to listen? Just like when you go to the forest, when you go to this deep forest, when you see the birds, how you listen, how you merge in that beauty of nature. Similarly, when you hear the words of God, just it should reverberate inside our mind. And Guru gives mantra, we give mantra diksha, people take. Those mantras are not to be understood actually. The mantras given to you, who are taken mantras, it is not given to you to understand those mantras. It has to be repeated, it should reverberate inside our mind. And slowly it will merge. See, those syllables, whatever the Bija mantra they give, it has no meaning. There is no meaning for that. Will you ask any meaning about when birds sings? Are you going to ask any meaning about that? Why these birds are chirping? Just you enjoy. Similarly, you have to enjoy those mantras. That going on enjoying those mantras, it will completely, all your mind will become completely purified. Then you will see your real nature. The real nature will be manifested. That is the meaning. So God is knowable, not knowable, unknowable. That is the meaning. It is to be not. Now it is not the world to be understood through our mind, through our senses. It is beyond our senses, beyond our mind. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. That's what Upanishad says. So here Sri Ramakrishna is still Brahman is beyond Vidya and Avidya. Vidya means knowing, Avidya means ignorance. It is beyond Maya, the illusion of duality. If you want to know anything about God, then first it is not possible through your senses. You have to go beyond your senses, beyond your mind. Brahman is beyond. So here, Sri Ramakrishna is illusion. Then whatever you are seeing, all this Maya. Whatever we are experiencing through our senses, these things are all Maya. See, is this Maya, what I am saying, is it unreal? Then, what you are experiencing this world, is it unreal? No. It's not unreal. As long as we have ego, as long as we are identified with this body and mind, the world exists. That is a Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya does not mean Mithya, does not mean unreal. It is real as long as we are identified with this body and mind. This is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling, that Vidyasagar is attentively listening. Yes, what he is telling about God, it is impossible to know Him. Yes, true. Through your senses, is true. Impossible to know. It is not possible to know. But through what? It is impossible to know. It is impossible through our senses, through our mind. It is because all our senses, all our mind, because of consciousness, because of that Brahman, because of the Atman, that through that consciousness, all these are working. It is subjective. It is not objective. If you try to objectify this Atman, that is not at all truth. That is not at all. It is absolutely impermanent. That is illusory. That is why if you are not able to meditate upon meditate upon this absolute truth, that we are personifying that Atman, personifying that Brahman. That is why we worship. When you go to temple, we worship. We are personifying that pure consciousness. Through that, we go and reach, will merge in that. For that reason, when you go and worship, why do these mantras, Bija mantras? So these mantras are not to be understood. Not to be understood through as grammatically. It is not necessary. It is not given to you to understanding grammatically, understanding the inner meaning. It is given to you to experience it. So how? Because how will you address that Paramatma? It is beyond speech. Avang manasa gocharam. Brahman is avang manasa gocharam. Through that only I am able to speak. I am not, through speech I cannot experience, I cannot explain that one. But without that I cannot speak. Without that Brahman, without the consciousness, I cannot speak. I cannot give anything, any talk. But through speech I cannot explain. So it is beyond. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. If somebody says, world is an illusion, world is illusory, Brahman is alone, then you have to ask, when you can say that the world is illusory, when you can say, only when you realize, you don't speak at all. Ramana Maharshi, he never said that it is illusion, just he kept quiet. He was not talking about world. When Ramana Maharshi was there, and Second World War was going on, Bhagavan, the World War is going on. Then Bhagavan said, where is World War? There is no World War at all. World War is within you only, inside. War is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Actually, where the actual world war is going on? Within their minds. If their mind is perfect, if their mind is pure, they will not fight. But Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, there is no world war at all. He said clearly. Then what we will understand? What we will understand? What Bhagavan is telling is so many, every day we are reading newspaper. So much of fighting is going on. Germany, Poland, Russia, England, every Second World War, Japan, Germany, alliance war was going on. But Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi is telling there is no world war, no war at all. But clearly said, war is not outside, it is war within inside only. Inside our mind. Because we are identified with so much external world. You have so much of identification with this world. All these problems. So solve that problem. First of all, solve that problem which is inside. Then you will see. So Sri Ramakrishna is clearly saying beyond this Brahman, is beyond Maya. Once you realize this Ramana Maharshi, after realizing Brahman, then for him everything is Maya. He is not telling him it is Maya. He is not giving Upadesha, everything is Maya, forgive it. What he used to do, somebody goes, if anybody goes and present before him any problems, then he will tell, Maharaj, Bhagavan, so much of problem. The problem where? Who is suffering? You will ask. Then somebody, it is joke or really, I don't know. One fellow went to Ramana Maharshi and asked, Bhagavan, I have so much of problem, so much of suffering. Then Bhagavan asked, put another question. Then who is suffering? Then after coming out, he said, see, I went there to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi to solve my problem. He gave another problem. Who is suffering? Go and inquire who is suffering. See, it is true. What Bhagavan is to, who is suffering actually? Who is facing problem? Problem is where? It is in our mind only. Whole, it is individual mind and at the same time collective mind. Individually, I am suffering within my own circle. If you take any nation or a country, it has got its in wider way individual, that is universal mind working. And so that universal mind is working because of so much of conflict within their minds, because of their ego, all these conflicts. So as long as ego is there, then suffering will be there. Ego of what? Ego of identifying this body and mind. Real ego, when you understand, when you realize that real ego, then there is no problem at all. Because that ego, that real ego, the ripened ego, what Sri Ramakrishna in abundance says, Kachami Bhakami in Bengali says. Kacha means ripened ego. Kacha means unripened. Bhakami means ripened ego. Ripened ego means you are one with the universal, Brahman. Atman. Atman means just, what is the meaning of Atman? Atman is I. Just the meaning, the same I. Actually, real meaning of Atman is I. But there is a classroom is there. Students are there. See, even Atman, Om, all these words, that just meaning. What is the meaning of Om and Atman? It is I only. That is nothing. Actual real meaning of literal meaning is I. In classroom, students are there. Full of students. So how we are going to identify? Through names. Each individual has got different names. If there is no name, just in simple, there is no name in the classroom, name for students, any name in the classroom. How we are going to address? How we are going to identify? No name is given to students. People are there. And only that, how you are going to address them? Om. That is the one word. That is Om. Through that Om, all this, that Om represents that highest consciousness, Brahman. That Om, through that Om sound, we give different names to each individual. Each individual will have different names. Actually, suppose one Rama and Krishna, somebody is there. Is Rama? No. To identify him, we have given name. Then who is he? How you are going to identify? Because we are seeing differently, because of the senses and ego, we see differentiation. Otherwise, there is no difference at all. So this illusion is creating differentiation. Once you realize, you see same Atman, same Brahman. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Brahman is beyond Vidya and Avidya. So here, when Brahman, why be a Vidya and Avidya? Knowledge and there is no, once you realize, there is no question of realization, there is no question of knowing at all. Once you, knowing when it comes, then there is duality. I don't know whether something is there, I should know. There is this usual classical example, Rajju Sarpa, that is snake and rope. Then in twilight, you see the rope, then suddenly you see, when you see, oh, it's a maybe snake, people get frightened. Oh, I think it must be snake. Suppose you bring torch and say, oh, then you will understand that it is not snake. Oh, it is not snake, it is a rope, you will understand. Then the question comes. See, before bringing light, is it snake or a rope? Even before bringing light, it was rope only. After bringing light, it transformed to rope or what? No. Even before knowing it is a rope, it was rope. After bringing touch, it became naturally, it was rope only. No difference. Only when you, that is true. When you experienced as a snake, it is true. You cannot deny that it is not true. When you experience it, suddenly you saw the rope, seeing the snake, seeing the rope, you understand, you got frightened that it is snake. That is true also. We cannot deny that. Yes, no. I did not find. No, I thought already it was there in my mind rope, but still I got frightened. It is snake. Can you say like this? You cannot say like this. So until you are getting the knowledge of rope, you are thinking that it is a snake. Then it is true. So similarly, world. As long as you know the Brahman, as long as you realize that it is full of Brahman, then this world is real. So you cannot say that only when I put torch, that snake transformed into rope. Can you say like this? You cannot say like that. Even putting light, it was rope. After putting torch, it was rope only. Similarly, Brahman is beyond knowledge and ignorance. Because once you know, there is no question of knowing at all. That is why here Sri Ramakrishna clearly telling Brahman is beyond Vidya and Avidya, knowledge and ignorance. It is beyond Maya. Maya does not mean that it's unreal. You first should know. It is real, apparently real, but not actual absolute reality. So as long as knowledge is that knowledge of Brahman, till you get knowledge of Brahman, this world is real. Once you get the knowledge of Brahman, once you realize this world is Maya, then you will understand. That is what here is telling. So here, this incident, this narration, and what Vidyasagar is talking about God, in that way you can connect. But his opinions, whatever given is his opinion need not be accepted. What he is telling it from in normal sense only, Vidyasagar. So Sri Ramakrishna is clarifying actually here to Vidyasagar. The world consists of the illusory duality of knowledge and ignorance. It contains knowledge and devotion, and also attachment to woman and gold, righteousness and unrighteousness, good and evil. But Brahman is unattached to these. Good and evil apply to the jiva, the individual soul, as do righteousness and unrighteousness. But Brahman is not at all affected by them. So Sri Ramakrishna is explaining world, this what we experience in this world. Somebody asks, why is so much of suffering in this world? People say only Good people only suffer, they say. Good people only suffer. We see also. Generally, people come and say, complaint. Why is this world only good people are suffering? Only bad people, so much of crime they are making, but still they are enjoying. If you understand this statement, this world, see, as long as we have identification in this world, as long as we ignorance, the ignorance means then you keep on this karma theory, karma siddhanta, birth and death, continuous cycle of birth and samsara. In that samsara, according to your karma, according to my karma, I enjoy. So what a person who may see, one person is so much criminal, is enjoying lot of money, everything. It doesn't mean, then why, how he is enjoying all these things? Because he past karmas. He has some good karmas that now he is enjoying. But he is not realizing that this karma again it will accumulate for next birth. Next birth he has to suffer. So this is how. Yeah, because as long this world is full of good and bad. There is no absolute good, there is no absolute bad. This world. All good and bad is relative. What is good for me, other person it is bad for him. What is actually good? Where is good? Suppose you go and you are a thief, go and hey, you are doing so bad person. Will you accept? No, I am doing good. So many people are doing crime. I am doing. If I steal something, what is wrong? You will tell. From his point of view, is right. Then that is why here, what Vidyasagar is telling, everyone should try to do good to the world. Why should I do good to the world? Then my question. Why we should do good to the world? Why we should do good? Then what is good? Then so why I should do good first? First thing is, why should I do good to the others? Second one, what is good? Because anything if you generally what we do good to the others means what I like that is good. 99% how we think if we do something good means you give some charity to somebody. It is good. I don't deny it. But the charity is really good thing. If you go deeply the charity, then I should think. Yes, more and more. See, if I want to donate something, if I want to do some charity, first I should accumulate wealth. First I should accumulate wealth. If I want to accumulate wealth, if I want to accumulate more and more wealth, for my accumulation of wealth, someone has to sacrifice it. Someone has to suffer it. Then how can you say that what I am doing is right? How can you say that? What is good? Doing good means suppose okay, doesn't mean the doctor should not be there. I don't say this. If you are a good doctor, doctor's attitude how it should be? I should serve the patients. So I have studied so much of lakhs of rupees I have spent. I have become a doctor. Then if no patient means what is the use of studying? That means what you will expect, more and more patients should come. More and more patients means more and more people should get disease. Then what is the good? How you label it? This is good and this is bad. How you are going to label it? That is why Sri Ramakrishna is very intelligent. Sri Ramakrishna gave service. Shiva Jnani Jiva Seva. Don't expect I should do good to society. Don't think that I should always do good to the society. Who are you to serve? This world is, of course, in spite of expecting 100%, all the people should be happy. It is good. It is nice to listen. Nice to give advice. Nice to give lecture. Everyone should be happy. But it is not possible. This world is like this because of karma. Each one's own karma, they take birth and again suffer all those things. But it is my karma to do good to others. That is the first thing. Why should I do good to the others? It is my karma to do good to the others. Not that I should show mercy to him. That way Sri Ramakrishna is very intelligent, very clearly, very beautifully answered. Why showing the Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is there, according to them, Name Ruchi Jive Daya. That means you should have taste for repeating the name of the Lord and show mercy to the Jiva. Then Sri Ramakrishna rebuked. What? Who am I to show mercy to the Jiva? See, suppose in school, students are there, they write exams. So, teacher should give marks out of compassion, or teacher should give marks out of recognizing their talent. Which one you prefer? Students should not expect good marks from the teachers, not by out of compassion. Oh, teacher should show me mercy. We will not go, teacher, please show me mercy, give me more marks. Is it correct? No. Teacher should recognize his talent, recognize his ability. Based on that, you should give marks. Similarly, when I give the charity to the person, when you give donation to somebody, not that out of mercy, who is poor, not like that, oh, you are given me opportunity to serve you. That should be the attitude. So see God in man. Shivagnani Jiva Seva. Sri Ramakrishna said, why Shivagnani Jiva Seva? Otherwise, what is the use of doing service? What is the use of giving charity? There is no meaning. See, just few years ago, one Christian, and I know she is in Texas, in the convent. She was, before going to Texas, she was in Kadapa on St. Thomas convent. She was telling, so she was talking about, we had a conversation about Christian missionary and Ramakrishna missionary. She was telling Christian missionaries, we have to do a lot of service, charity. We started like this service. First, we are doing a lot of charity, so many missionary work, schools, hospitals, charity. She was telling. Then I told, it is actually, I clearly told, first missionary started by Buddhists. That was taken by first missionary concept brought out by Buddhists. That is the only religion, Swamiji says in one of his lectures, the only religion spread all over the world without bloodshed. Spreading missionary activities throughout the world, the only religion, that is Buddhism. All other missionary activities done by on the point of sword only. Of course, I did not tell because they will get hurt. I did not tell. Then I told. Then I said, charity. Okay, what charity? This charity, according to, yes, we start missionaries doing all charities, right? But Hindu charity is not like that. Our concept of charity itself is different, because we have, what is this? 4 ashramas, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, all those things. We have Grahastha Dharma. We need not, no organization, any Hindu organization need not run any charitable institutions. It is not our business. No sannyasi. This is not, see, Ramakrishna Mission is not a social organization, it is a spiritual organization. We do service. It is inevitable. Swamiji started this charitable services. It was inevitable because India was suffering. But it is not our goal. It is not our ideal. Because in ancient India, what we see, every house was charitable. Grahastha Dharma, what is the Grahastha Dharma? If somebody comes, there was no need of charity. Then I told her, this was the tradition in India. Every house, because see, even now in villages, there will be a portico will be there. Why they keep, if somebody comes, they will take rest. And if whoever comes, this Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi means what? Atithi does not mean that only some guest whom we invite. Atithi means tithi. Tithi means date, time. Without giving any appointment, without taking any appointment, suddenly they come. Suddenly, some maybe poor person, maybe your own guest or unknown person, or maybe patient, you have to serve them. This charity, it is ingrained in our it is in our DNA. That was the attitude of India. Why? That is the reason we Hindus, we don't have any charitable institutions. Somebody they come, what Hindus have done? Because why we are so much Hindus suffered in India? Because we lost our tradition. That was our tradition. Grihastha Dharma we are not followed. We are not followed the Grihastha Dharma. When every Grihastha follows, each Grihastha follows this Dharma, where is the question of poverty in the society? Students, those days, Gurukula means, it is not, students will go pay fees and study. It's to, Guru himself give food and take care of the students and gives teaching. He gives all upadeshas. Finally, they'll take care. The society will take care of their food and everything. That was the tradition. That was our Indian tradition. Then I told her, this is the thing. Why we don't have our Hindu organization? Now it was necessary, inevitable. There was no other option. We are doing all service. Many organizations, not only Ramakrishna, the other organizations also doing so many service activities. Seeing Christian missionaries. But why the missionaries has to come and do all service here in India? When before invasion, how was the India? The only richest country in this whole world was in India and China. If anybody wants to purchase gold, all the way they used to come to India from Greece and Latin America, all from them, different Europe countries, they used to come to India to purchase gold. So much of gold, so much of richness was there in India. Then what is the necessary for charity here? Because people came and of course our own fault is there, no doubt. I don't say that there was our own fault, so much of discrimination, all those things. Because of that only we have degraded, but doesn't mean that there was no concept of charity. It was there. Every house, every grihastha was a charitable. You take, for example, Buddha's life. Buddha did not see in his how he would get transformed. Buddha, seeing old man, some deceased person, on the dead bodies he saw, and one person ascetic. He did not see during Buddha, in Buddha's life, he did not see any person is poor. If you read the history, if you study the history of Buddha, he did not see any poverty in his country. He did not see any poor man. He saw a diseased person suffering, one leper, or some old man he saw, and then ascetic, one dead body he saw. He did not see a single poor man. The poverty started when people started becoming, he started from Buddhism. He started giving sannyasa to everybody indiscriminately, then slowly lost all strength. Society losing its strength. The dharma, that is why dharma should be called dharma, artha, kama, moksha, according to their mindset, according to their tendencies, one should take up. Through that, one has to realize. That is why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, as long as you are identification with this body and mind, you have to serve. With that, which attitude? Serve Shiva Jnani Jiva Siva. That slowly, when one person will get, mind will become purified. After purification, will get knowledge, will get realization. So that is how Sri Ramakrishna giving beautiful explanation, making Vidyasagar to understand. Why he went there? Because why Sri Ramakrishna went to Vidyasagar? Vidyasagar is a great man. He is sober, very philanthropic, full of knowledgeable person. But Sri Ramakrishna himself says, yes, he is on the edge of the realization. Such a great man. So here, after hearing all these things, Vidyasagar was very perplexed. So here, but Brahman is not at all affected by, see here, the world consists of the illusory duality of knowledge and ignorance. It contains knowledge and devotion, and also attachment to woman and gold. So all these things, all duality. This world is duality, good and bad. It is relative. Sri Ramakrishna further is telling, one man may read the Bhagavata by the light of lamp, and another may commit a forgery by that very light. But the lamp is unaffected. The sun sheds its light on the wicked as well as on the virtuous. So each soul is potentially divine, but only because why he commits sin? Because of ignorance, because of this duality, he commits sin. That is why in Sanatana Dharma, Hindu Dharma, there is no sin but ignorance. We recognize ignorance because of out of ignorance only he commits sins. That is why Swamiji says, it is a sin to call a man a sinner. You should not call any person a sinner. Yes, he commits sins out of ignorance. But whatever he commits sins, he has to undergo that karma, undergo the result of that karma. But he will experience all those karma. He has to undergo, he has to suffer good or bad. But once he gets knowledge, he will be liberated. That is all. Only when he wants to get out of this suffering. Unless he understands this world is suffering, he cannot get out of this suffering. Till then he has to go on suffering, go on good and bad. Then that is why Mundakopanishad shloka comes, Tasuparna Savija Sukhaya. How one man realizes how one goes towards truth. Keep on, go on suffering, good and bad. So finally understand, yes. Finally what he understands, yes, all these things are relative. All these things are Maya. I am unaffected. Once he come to know this, then he will be liberated. It's absolute freedom. He will get absolute freedom. So that way Sri Ramakrishna said that. But what he is telling, as long as you don't understand, you have to suffer. But don't say that, never say that my suffering, God is the cause. God is the responsible for my suffering. Never say that. Because Sri Ramakrishna Bhagavat, one may read Bhagavat under this light. We are reading Gospel here. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna under this light. Or the same light somebody may put some forgery. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Some other thing we may do. Is it light is the responsible for this? No. Similarly, inside your consciousness, pure consciousness, that is not responsible. Because of this ajnana, because of this ahankara, all those problems arise. That is why Sri Ramakrishna, you may ask how then can one explain misery and sin and unhappiness? The answer is that these apply only to the jiva. Brahman is unaffected by them. There is a poison in a snake, but though others may die if bitten by it, the snake itself is not affected by the poison. Similarly, how snake is there? Snake tooth has got poison. If it bites somebody, the person may die, but it will not die. It is there. Similarly, it is applying only to jiva. But jiva, that Atman and Brahman, both are one. Once he realizes, it is not affected by, only because of this ignorance. Just like snake. Snake is there, poison is there, it is not get affected by that. Similarly, inside our Atman, pure consciousness, it will not get affected by anything outside happening. It is only affected by this ego. Ordinary ego, apparent ego, is ignorance, because due to ignorance. So what Brahman is cannot be described. All things in the world, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Tantras, 6 systems of philosophy have been defied. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, where all the books, Vedas, Upanishads, and then 6 systems of philosophy, all this is defiled. Defiled means, what do you say, Uchchishta, they say Uchchishta. But only one thing is not defiled, not Uchchishta, that is Brahman. God is not Uchishta. Defined. Like food. See, all Tantra, six system philosophy have been defined. Like food that has been touched by the tongue, for they have been read or uttered by the tongue. Only one thing has not been defined in this way, and that is Brahman. No one has ever been able to say what Brahman is. Sri Ramakrishna one day says, no, I want to say, I want to tell everything, but mother is holding me. Mother is holding my neck. She is not allowing me. What does it mean actually? Because he cannot explain. When Buddha was asked his disciples, does God exist? Buddha said, have I ever said like this? He said. Then God does not exist. Have I ever said like this? God does not exist. For both the question he answered like this. What does it mean? You cannot explain. You cannot explain through mouth. That is beyond, just to experience. That is why, just I narrated story. What is that? Why you are speaking about God? God, knowable, not unknowable, not knowable, unknown. Then disciples asked, why do you speak about God? Then what Guru said, why bird sings? Why bird sings? Why we go to mountain waterfalls? Just to go experience. Just to experience. Just you never question why bird is singing. Cuckoo every day. Now it is season when you sit in my illam behind full of trees. Early morning, coo. We don't why this cuckoo is making sound. We never ask. Just we enjoy. What is that enjoyment? You cannot explain this. Just you enjoy, that's all. That is how, similarly, when you listen, that is why what he said, any scholar speaks, scholars give lecture, it should be understood. But any enlightened person talks, just it should be listened, it should not be understood. Enlightened person's words should not be understood, it should be listened. That is why in our Shastra, Shavarna, Manana, Nididhyasana. They don't say, Shavarna, then you have to understand, contemplate, question. Shavarna, Manana means just listen, and inside Manana, contemplate and put it inside. That way, what Guru said, scholar speaks, any big scholars, Pandits, if they speak, try to understand what is feeling, whether it's right or wrong. There you require reasoning. If anybody talks about God, gives every Shastra, speaks, give a lecture about any philosophy, then you should try to understand, you should reason everything. But any enlightened person, like Sri Ramakrishna, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, when they speak, just to listen. That's all. You have to listen, that's all. It should not be understood. What listening means what? Whatever they say, you have to put it in practice. An ordinary scholar speaks, but you have to understand, then only you have to put it in practice. But when enlightened person speaks, just listen. That's why when Guru gives mantra, it should reverberate inside. When you listen, when you take mantra, those mantras should just keep on ringing inside. It should reverberate inside. Then it should put it inside. It should go, it should percolate, it would pervade whole thing, body, mind, everything. Then you should forget your own self, your body, mind, everything should be forgotten. See, when you go to a beautiful place, any beautiful place at Himalayas, or any Western Ghats, like any forest, you see beautiful nature, you will forget our own body, our mind. We don't question anything. Why is this like this? Have you ever questioned like this? You see beautiful river flowing and mountains. What do you ask? Anything? You never ask, never question why all these things are. You never just enjoy. You will forget yourself. You forget your own body. mind where let me stay here itself. That feeling will come. That feeling should come when we take mantra from Guru. When you hear mantra or any words of the enlightened person, you listen and put it inside, meditate on that, and then completely forget yourself. When we do this, then you will be liberated. That was why Upanishad says Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. They never said, our Upanishad never said Patana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Nowhere else. Patana is not that. Shravana only. That is why listening is very important. We give importance for listening. In school, why children are getting failed in exams? Why are they not able to be successful? We are not teaching the art of listening. First, one should have the art of listening. If you have a listening faculty strong, then automatically you need not worry at all, the students. That is what our Upanishads go on stressing this listening, Shravana. That is what here Sri Ramakrishna is telling. He is making, that is why in the beginning it's Vidyasagar, attentively listening. That also Master Mahasaya is giving description. Vidyasagar listened to these words in silence. The others too gazed the Master and were attentive to every word he said. So listening is very important. So once you listen to the Master carefully, with Shraddha, then it will enter inside. Then it will make us to contemplate, and finally we will get liberation. So we will take up the next topic in next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.